What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I just wanted to talk to you about a few quick things that I really love about the OnePlus Pad 2. I've had this guy in-house for a week, maybe a little more than a week now, and this isn't quite my full review yet, but I wanted to share some of my favorite things about the OnePlus Pad 2. First of all, we gotta talk about that processor. It's running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip inside here. That is the flagship chip from Qualcomm for this year. It's running in all the flagship phones so far that have released this year, right? The OnePlus 12, the S24 series, at least here in the US, and some other parts of the world, the S24s are running Exynos. Don't ask me why, because Samsung doesn't like us very much. That's beside the point. But anyway, the Qualcomm processor here makes a huge difference. It's blazingly fast at multitasking, at gaming, at every single thing I've tried to do on this tablet. It has just crushed it. I mean, it has defied expectations. I have the OnePlus Pad 1, the original one, that's running the MediaTek Dimensity 9000. I was already impressed by the performance of that. I wrote a review about it. You can read it. You can check it out. I was already impressed, but just running the 8 Gen 3 in here just puts it miles ahead of anything else that's out there, right? It's noticeably faster performance. It's the same levels of performance that I'm getting from my OnePlus 12 and from the Z Fold 6, which I've been using. So it's absolutely incredible. I love the processor that they've put in here. Secondly, the display. Let's talk about this display. This is running a 3K display, okay? A 3K display. That's huge. It's 303 pixels per inch. It's got 144 hertz refresh rate, okay? Now that isn't crazy fast on a tablet. Most times we're seeing 120 hertz. 144 hertz is even fast for some phones out there nowadays. Now, keep in mind, you're not gonna see 144 hertz from necessarily every single app on the tablet. But the fact that it can get there and that it does get there for most apps that I've used is mind-blowing. So you got a crazy fast processor coupled with a crazy fast refresh rate on the display. It's unbeaten, right? And I love that they've increased the screen size. Last year, the screen size was like 11.7 inches. It was somewhere in the 11-inch range. This year, they've gone all the way to 12.1. It may not seem like a big deal, but it actually does make a difference. I've noticed and much appreciated the larger screen real estate. And then the last thing I really love about the display specifically is it's got that 3.2 aspect ratio. Now, that may seem like a bit of an odd aspect ratio for a tablet, but trust me, it makes a big difference, right? It means the apps are taller, so when I do multiple apps side by side, it makes it taller. So it's great for multitasking. It's absolutely incredible. I am just floored by the display on this tablet. No, it's not an OLED. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm not a huge fan of with the display, is that it's still an LCD. But honestly, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. If you look real closely, you can see a little bit of light bleed on the edges. And if you really are wanting to try to test, see if it's a LCD, you can tell. But it's such a good display that I don't care, because I don't watch a whole lot of content on my iPad or my tablet. Excuse me, it's not an iPad. I don't watch a whole lot of content on my tablet. Occasionally I'll watch a YouTube video, maybe while I'm eating lunch, or if I need to look up something just real quick, but I'm not gonna sit there and binge hours upon hours or watch a whole movie on my tablet. If I'm on a plane, maybe, but again, I don't care at that point, right? I'm not using this as a daily consumption device. I'm not using it to edit videos, to edit photos, things like that. So I don't need, nor do I miss, having an OLED display on the Pad 2. All right, one other thing I'm really impressed with about this year's OnePlus Pad 2 is the accessories. So as you can see on the original OnePlus Pad, right, they still had the keyboard case and the stylo. But this year, this one was more of like a folio, right? So it was just kind of one piece that just unfolded into the keyboard, right? And the stylo was okay. I mean, it worked. It did its job. It was fine, but it was nothing special, right? It worked pretty much just the way you would expect any sort of product like that to work, right? Any sort of kind of Apple Pencil clone-ish type of thing. But this year, they went a different route. So you still got the keyboard, but first thing you'll notice is there's an extra set of keys. You get a whole function row. All right, they went with it, instead of being a folio type of keyboard, you can just see how much bigger that is. Instead of being a folio type keyboard, they made it detachable, right? So it's a two-piece keyboard. just like this. And the coolest part is it works via Bluetooth, right? So I can be sitting here and I can be typing on it just fine. And look, I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna go here and I'm say, hello, how are you today? I'm fine, thanks. How are you? So you can see it works via Bluetooth, right? Which is hugely impressive. It detaches, and so it's got a little kickstand on the back here. So this is very reminiscent of what Microsoft's doing with the new Surface Pro 11. It's also been on some other 2-in-1s that I've seen, and I mentioned that in my intro video. So that is really, really impressive. And then the other thing is the stylo. They've updated the stylo for this year. So I don't know if you can see that. It may not show up really well on camera because it's kind of small, but you can kind of tell there's like a textured element there, right? So it feels, it's like that faux leather texture. So it instantly feels so much better in your hand. Like it feels so good. And then the other cool thing, so this is in the OnePlus Notes app. I've not been able to tell if this is present in any other apps other than the OnePlus Notes app, okay? But look, so I'm gonna start writing, and you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, obviously, but I can at least zoom in a little bit, get you a little bit closer. So you're not gonna be able to see this because it's a feeling, but there's haptic feedback in here. So as I'm writing this, there's a little vibration happening inside the pencil that makes it feel like I'm actually scratching on paper. Again, you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, but it's really cool. And please ignore the messy handwriting. I'm trying to do this really awkwardly. But yeah, so I can't explain to you how cool that is, that you can actually feel haptic feedback as you're writing. So once again, this is not my complete review. That's still to come. I'm hoping to get that in the next couple days. But those are just a few of the three things that I really love about the OnePlus Pad 2. All right, so once again, this is not my full review, but I just wanted to share a few things that I'm really, really loving about the Pad 2. The processor in here is top-notch. The Qualcomm 8 Gen 3 makes a huge difference. The display is even better than it was last year. It's a little bit bigger, but it's such a good display, guys. It's such a good display. And they've made noticeable improvements to the accessories. So they've really done a good job of improving on a lot of the things that were so good about the first Pad to begin with. So stay tuned for the full review. That is coming soon, but hopefully you're as excited about the OnePlus Pad 2 as I am. Let me know down in the comments if you're gonna be picking one up. Let me know what you'd like to see, if you'd like me to test some things, what you'd like to see in my full review. Let me know, yeah, I'll see you next time.